Surge America here. Boom. When you see a motley crew of characters and you just don't know what to understand, you know you're in for a good book. I always did enjoy the Middlemen. As I started getting into them, it was just crazy. It was not entirely what I was used to. So then I ended up buying Doom Patrol. We who are about to die. It's the first 6 issues of the Keith Griffin and Matthew Clark run. Um, it was I know a lot of people that love Doom Patrol, and also listening recently to a Doom Patrol podcast. It definitely piqued my interest. So when I saw this book, I did happen to grab it at a great half price on the cover. So, you know, how could you go wrong? This is definitely way different than even what I could think of thinking. It it kind of plays with the traditional format, I think. Um, and they're definitely not villains, but they're I don't know. It's tough to call them heroes. The Doom Patrol is truly the Doom Patrol. These misfits that have been gathered together by the professor. Let's see. Well, we'll just talk about Cliff Robot Man Steel, Rita Elastic Woman Far, and Larry Negative Man Trainer. Um, are all characters that don't quite fit normally together. Um, Caldwell, I want to say, was the uh, professor who gathered them together, and I don't want to spend all day just kind of looking through the book. It, they are a misfit group of superheroes who have an interesting way of of doing a style. The professor kind of has asked them to go out and stop or take care of certain situations. Um, they're somewhat ill prepared for each one, or they have enemies that hate the professor so much that they just go ahead and decide to make a what would be I guess a normal attack plan go chaotic quickly, and so it is definitely very interesting. They got a deep history, so by this point they already have enemies who are arch villains to them that they keep running into. It also feeds into on this trade the Darkest Night, so Blackest Night, sorry, Blackest Night, where people from the dead have come back because Black Lanterns have given them rings. So some of them are incarnations of themselves, other Larry, robots, other Negative Men, other Elastigirls, and it was definitely, I mean, it was a fantastic read, and it was, I didn't even know, as you get done with it, you just have a tough time processing it to a certain point. There was a backup story in here, and I don't really want to call it a backup story. There was an issue of kind of like Larry, how Larry is Larry, some of his history. So they do a very good job about bringing you up to speed fairly quickly about each of these characters. Um, and as the name implies, Doom Patrol. Right away they're not afraid to start wiping out characters in the book either that are part of the team. Uh, it was one of these things that I definitely enjoyed. Jess Dianano did the artwork, who was also in the Fate Countdown to Mystery that I recently read, and so I mean I like the artwork. The story, like I said, was solid. I think it's tough to say because I haven't read other Doom Patrols to put it up against. I know everybody talks about Morrison's run, but I definitely think Niles Calder. Haha, there it is, right there, the chief, not the professor, the chief. Um, I haven't read other styles of Doom Patrol. I guess it's like Justice League or Avengers. There's slightly different members at different times, somewhat of a different maybe view on how weird the book should be or how unique the characters are. But I just have to say, it was definitely one of these things that I got into it, and I did feel a little bit of a shift as we entered Darkest Night, Blackest Night, whichever. I'm not a Green Lantern fan. Uh, and then as they flipped over to Larry, I thought there was actually, it felt like there was issues missing in there. Uh, I think some of this was about writing stories for people who have been following along the entire time, and so it didn't feel slightly lost, but I felt like there were gaps. As I went back and checked on it, it really is this run 1 through 6. So the Darkest Night, Blackest Night, whatever it was, um, cut off because I believe it went to a different book. So that storyline kind of felt like it ended too quickly and didn't have a resolution. The Larry story was great, but it was definitely, like I said, it took me out of how the whole story was progressing. So along those lines, I guess I wasn't crazy about that style of jumping from one thing to another. But as we know with the big two, very often they have all the different things they want editorialized to fit in there. So some books may suffer for that reason. But I definitely have to say that I don't think the characters were each strong. Each one was very distinct, had a very good voice. The writer, Keith Giffen, definitely knew who each character was, and I think that's also important in a book like this. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was the thing too is when you got done though, at the end, I could say I enjoyed this book. Um, and like I said, I do want to read more Doom Patrol after reading this book. So I guess it hits all those bases that you want it to. It'll be interesting to start reading different ones and be able to compare, different writers, more on the storyline, and see how that goes. I believe I might be able to pick up a couple more issues digitally, or if I happen to find a trade. So once again, I'll keep my eyes open. Free Comic Book Day, as you know, is coming up for Saturday in May, and I believe it's May 2nd of this year, 2015. And I definitely have to say, enjoy your fringe characters. So often they usually can slide by the events. So often they are the ones that truly flourish and have great story because the writers can do anything they want. So I definitely will enjoy more Doom Patrol, more Metal Men, more of what DC is doing. I really seem to be into DC. I don't know, saturation right now. So thankful once again for you watching the video, and definitely thankful for everybody who puts out their videos to let me know things like this to be on the lookout for. So until then, catchphrase. Oh, I hit the wrong button.